Here we are with our Northern again. And this is the double wide. It has a pair of arc magnets in the sides, but only two boosters, one booster in the front on each side. And this is part of just of an experiment. It ran with no boosters, which was pretty interesting, but it was a little slow. I just want to show you what the meter is telling me on this engine with this particular configuration. This is with the big armature. It's about, another ½ inch longer than the standard one. And right now we're just cruising. I've got the amp potential up as many amps as it needs, up to 5. And I've got the fine adjustment maxed out and the coarse adjustment minimized. So I'm at 2.8 volts, 1.3 amps, pretty much idling. You can stop it, but it'll start right up again. So that should be a pretty good capability puller, okay? Now, as I increase the voltage up here, I'm winding it up, okay? You hear the pitch change in the motor. You see the voltage go up. It went to 4, went from under 3, just about to 4, and the amps went from 1.3 to 1.5. So as we increase voltage, we're adding amperage draw. The limitation on this, the old boards were 3 amps. These guys had 3 amp capacity. They now have 5, 8, and 10 amp capacity. We have 3 ranges, and we're deciding which ones we want to go with. We just built the batch of 5s. And I want to see if this will handle it. So now you can see we're at 7 volts and almost 2 amps. Now 7 volts is probably just barely moving this train if it's got any pull. I mean, most engines, right? This thing will pull, I guarantee you. He's pretty sturdy. That's a very strong 2 amp pull there. Very nice. Okay. Now let's see. So creep up 9. 10, 2.3 amps. We're only at 10 volts. On this guy, 10 volts, I don't know, maybe it's 60 miles an hour. I can't stop it. I cannot stop the motor at 10 volts. That's the beauty of the big amp, the big armature. Torque. Gobs of torque. There's 12, 13. Okay, so at 13 volts, we're asking for 2.8 amps. 2.8, this baby would be, I'm not using this one, I'm going direct. But if I were using the old one, it's starting to get warm now. It's starting to get warm. Actually, it's probably starting to get hot. That's why I like using my bench supply. I can see what I'm drawing on amps, and then I can gauge what my unit can take. Now the transformers will give us roughly 17 volts maximum. Okay. I'm going to try to dial that in exactly. I went down to my fine tune button. I got it down to 17, and look at that. 3 amps. 3 amps was the capacity of the other motor controller, the old one. For single engines, call this a double wide or the 2X or whatever. The big motor armature. Now I'm not going to grab that wheel. Okay, I'm not grabbing it because I know at 10 volts I could not stop it. At 17, there's no way. 3 amps is a lot of energy right now. So that thing is going to be flying and it's going to be moving things around. But you got to You got to have the big balanced, matched, you might think of it, matched power ratings. So you're going to need at least 3. So if this one is now 5, we're in good shape. We got a little extra room, what I call headroom, and go up above a little bit. Now we're back to just under 3 volts at 1.8 amps. And it's a little warmed up now, I imagine. We'll let it rest. Ha! Yes, it's a little warmed up right now. You wouldn't want to do that all afternoon. Running 4 amps through there all afternoon, not good, Maverick. Yep, she's on the warm side in the armature. That's a surprise. Well, it shouldn't be. You're putting a lot of power through there, so that's what you get. None of this is free, Gobs of torque to pull a long train. It costs you. It costs something. And in general, it results in heat as a byproduct. Because if you're building more energy, you have to expel more heat. That's a byproduct of it. So yeah, that's why we put these cooling fins on these bigger units also. But that's an interesting experiment. I wanted to share with you the value of the piece. Now what I could do is take the boosters off. That would lower the torque, lower the amp pull, but it's going to lower like I said, lower the torque. But it would run cooler. But I don't know what's our goal here. We want to be able to pull long trains with a big engine. So I think this has merit. I'm just not sure if it's worth the climb. The view, is it worth the climb? For us to build that armature would be a huge project. We'd have to take 2 of these apart, take this shaft to a machine shop and either have it extended or build a new one that's longer, because this has to go like that. It's got to be about 3/8 of an inch longer or more. Maybe we could extend it, I don't know. And then we have to add plates behind the commutator, and then we have to wind them. and that's all, maybe $50 to build the armature. And then, who's going to pay $50 plus this with all these magnets? That's not, that's more expense. Plus the 10 amp thing, these components would be more expensive. So it all adds up. It's like a hot rod. You go to a hot rod, takes time, takes money, and gets hot, and then things break, and then you get mad, and then you're broke. And then you play with trains. That's what you do. Well, it's a dilemma. I sure think there's potential here. I'm just not sure we're ready for it. I think I'm going to have to just slow roll on this baby. But I definitely want to get that big motor in here, motor controller into the diesels, because they require these, especially these old motors. Ooh, they eat them. They'll take 5 amps in a heartbeat. And then you'll see. If we can do that, we're golden. I'd like to be able to convert these motors like I did these with the fields. I had fields somewhere around here, and I chickened out. I have to actually print that chassis and put bearings in it and all that. It's the only way I can do it. Do it right. Do it right for you guys so it's livable and all. Something like this. There's an all-plastic engine, right? That's cool. Okay. All right. Now, I lied. Now I am back to work. I took a break. I don't know what's wrong with me. Put off what you don't like to do. I don't know. So there it is. Big motor. We got it. 17 volts. Takes 4 amps. That's why it burned up that. I didn't burn it, but it got it really hot and I quit. That's why it got hot. Alrighty. Later.